it, because there is a time before you're able to fire. You're stuck in that little disco, and now utilizing the drop down, pushing in on Quinny, by the way, and able to pick that one up. And also notice how he's getting the resources and then finding immediate lines of fire right away, continuing to put pressure on the opponents, knowing this guy is on a campfire, edits back out, and then keeps pressuring with his partner. Reno was actually able to pick up that elim. And again, Skate dropping down, picking up that elimination, always making sure Reno is there to cover. Now, we're going to jump back on over with technique. This is one of the power positions we've talked about before, but it's on the back side of the circle. If you're ready to fight and other people aren't, or they're already stuck in other engagements, it becomes very simple to then challenge and pick up other eliminations, as is able to get one full conversion and a knock there, which then ends up being converted over. Great shots over there onto Nico Kong as well. Now, we saw this one on cast, but this is just so clutch coming out from Timo. Like, just recognizing that there's no way he's going to get back to the zone, so just trying to find as many points as he can, with each point being an elimination, picking up 3 additional points, and also pushing himself into the top 12 with those was huge. Now, the low ground rampage coming out from Dame. Saw this in the last game, but how he was able to actually pick these up as the players challenged through, getting the conversion over in the storm fight in order to get the siphon, and then ducking back in, just making sure he's covered the entire time, slides back out, but because the other player and the zone is moving off of the side of the mountain, he has to trade out shots because he's running low on builds, forces the action going through, and because he was able to get back into the zone and then turn and land his shot, secures himself 3 eliminations and the victory out. So guaranteed coming out with securing an additional 13 points for them there.
Man, pretty sweet indeed, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for week 2 of the online open qualifiers. We do have more games. We're gonna hop right back over to the dynamic duo to get into more action. Courage, Lupo, over to you guys.
Thanks, Zeke. Appreciate it. We are still here, the Fortnite World Cup online open. Jack, what do you think of Europe so far?
They're all great people in Europe. You know, I was just in Europe last week. I ate my entire body weight in sausages.
Don't think that's physically possible, but I do believe you.
Yeah, well, you obviously haven't seen this. Can we note how many eliminations, is it Rojo?
Rojo has 9,
9?
And there's 42 players left. Absolutely dominating this lobby so far. He and his duo partner, I believe Wolfie's right there, moving in the edge of the storm, still safe where they are. They have a couple players around them. They have a duo directly underneath. They have one. I believe you see the map down there. One of my favorite parts about this, not only the cluster, the stack, the density of players, but you watch the arrows spinning around because they're checking 360 the entire time, watching for any movement, any opportunity to take shots. It's insane. Like they're little tops, little spinning like little tops down there.
Spinning like little tops. Rojo really is looking for this elimination on Speedy, who's just above with under 70 HP. He's trying to hold this edit for the moment, looking for help from Waffles. Hasn't gotten it as of yet. And there's one player just above. There we go. The elimination onto Speedy. Doesn't get much easier than that. What it seems like so far from what I'm seeing from Rojo right away is done a great job of recognizing who to target right away. Even though they had an advantageous position on the early rotation for the zone, you really couldn't see too much because of how much build is all around them, and they're only midway up. They're not at the very top. They can't just peek all the way down. So instead of trying to hope someone runs into this very narrow window, he forces the engagement on someone that's nearby that he knows is weak. You'll love to see it right there. Dynamite going off, breaking down a ton of these builds, as Waffles will continue to just kind of branch on out for the moment, hoping to force an engagement on the player just on the other side of this wall.
See there, we can see the outline of the duo underneath, but he can. He's looking for any kind of movement in there. You can catch him through the little wood slats. He does indeed catch one through the wood slats. Wolvies with a knockdown. He's going to continue to apply pressure. His teammate, you can see on the left side of your screen, Rojo does have the angle, and they're both just going to spray through any material that they can, trying to get every elimination that they can in there, and they do secure the knockdown. They're going to keep on spraying. Listen, whoever that is at the bottom is going to go through every single material they have, and that's the inevitable end. Honestly, at that point, as Starliu, I would just burn all the mats I can.
I think the question now that I would ask is, do you drop down and try to go grab all that stuff?
Just because of the material usage?
I mean, there's a launch. All right, I guess the baller's done it.
They're
the baller with the bush. This person's a walking tank right there.
It's like one of those toys you get at a grocery store out of the 50-cent little dispensers, little bush inside the ball. Wolfie's here.
I mean, those
Yeah,
they probably
here we
had
go.
those when you were a kid, but
Listen, Jack,
I think now they just give out codes for the App Store. As now Waffles and Rojo down to just a lower amount of HP on Rojo, who's at 7 limbs at this point. The squad moving on in. Onan on the high ground does fall to the storm. Saw as well. Native Res. Zaytree getting sprayed at the moment. Isa on the low ground. Mag Venom up top. Waffles and Rojo have gotten some health back, so you've got to assume that they've had to have found another elimination somewhere in there, Ben.
still mixing it up the edge of the zone.
Yep.
Rojo catches another one off guard, rotating in. The knockdown and the elimination. There's
Guys.
8 and 3, 11 for this duo. 22 players remaining. 45 seconds remaining on this circle rotation. They're the edge of the zone. They're going to have to start moving in real quick. You see the redeploy. He's going for the launch pad. Just barely the edge of the storm, but it's good enough. He's going to hug it in the air.
And there he can't check what builds are going on above him, so he builds it basically one floor into the zone, knowing no one's building above me inside the zone right now. It gives him a clear path to be able to launch pad and actually use the full height. The question that we always have in these games, will the high ground duo be able to close out? They have the advantage, obviously. Do they have enough materials is the question. And, okay, it looks like they're, oh, no. Oh, I thought he fell.
A little bit of a skip there.
Yeah,
We
I thought,
caught you off guard, Jack.
I thought he fell, but apparently he's all right. Mag Venom in a build battle now, going for this high ground. A beautiful pump shot for 152. Did that knock the player? That did. I'll tell you that much. The boom bow showing off just how good it can be.
The top down here, 0 and 2 eliminations, 2 total for this duo. You see there's still a baller, Everglide, and Mag Venom kind of hugging the very edge here, looking for any opportunity. That boombo could come in absolutely clutch right now. Just catching someone with a single shot is enough to do 100 minimum damage. Here we go, spraying from above. PvP goes down to Everglide, 3 and 1. That's 4 elims. Zapri is still down below in a baller. You have Mimulti in a baller as well. 7 players left, 5 duos total, which means you have only a couple solos in here.
Everglide now just keeping a slight high ground advantage. So many builds left, and again, Ben, it looks like elevation's about to come into play. Did the zone push back the opposite side?
Looks like it's going southeast.
Yeah, it did. So that'll save the low ground players for the moment. Doesn't wind up going over the entire mountain. But they have so many materials, and look at this. It's a 2 versus 1. Mimulti has no shields left. They have 400 health.
I was literally going to say, Mag Venom dropped in solo for a second, and I was going to say, let's not see a repeat of previous games, but Everglide's right there by his side. They're even sharing materials right now during a push. Mag Venom drops in, Mimulti inside a box of his own here, trying to hug the edge of the storm and stay ahead. Just stay towards anything to stay ahead of the push, and he gets caught off guard. 38 HP, only 13 shouty shells. Trying to peek that little corner to edit out. Gets a solid tag, jump up over the top. You got to watch your back, though. He's building up, ascending, trying to keep a top down, and he catches a 90 shot, but it's not enough, and Mag Venom secures that last elim. 7 elims, the victory royale. That's a lot of points, Jack.
That is a lot of points right there as the action continues. You saw the hope trying to use those materials to get any bit of high ground that they could, but it's just not enough. In a 1 versus 2, they've got a distinct health advantage. Over now to another game going on. Remember, these are the online qualifiers for the Fortnite World Cup. It's week 2 of the action. Players who place in the top 1,500 duos today in their respective regions will qualify for tomorrow's crazy matches. Janice and Rijas rotating now towards
Whatever
the
you
next zone.
say, Jack, in terms of...
I'm trying to read some of these names. I'm struggling a little bit. I didn't do well enough in...
If it's not a McDonald's menu, I know you struggle a little bit, Jack, so it's no big deal. Don't worry about it.
I will take a number 2, though, with cheese on both burgers and a medium fry.
6 elims for this duo, 31 players remaining. And look, they're going to tap fire. That suppressed AR is actually extremely accurate if you pace your shots, but it looks like they're going for any damage that they can. You have a player rotating in on a quad crasher through the air. You have, oh my gosh!
Goodness.
Rapid goes down.
Doesn't hit the follow-up shot.
You have multiple teams in that mix, though. You saw 3 players minimum that were all pushing in to try and secure the other elim. What a snipe, though. Very good regardless of whether or not you get the other elim. There's a duo that we've seen many times in tons of previous events. Mongrel and Mitro in the zone right now, pushing through another player's structure. You see they're knocking out the walls and replacing. He's holding an edit, trying to peek his way through and see if he can see somebody mid-movement. Those quick edits will come into play here if they see someone below. The campfire. Anything to top off the HP, though. That dynamite jack is trying. This actually is proof of just how nested the structure is.
Yep.
3 sticks of dynamite went off and nothing fell. The edit there, Trixie gets caught off guard. Mongrel did own that ramp, and there it is, the elim picking up that little bonus there.
That's the second rift to go.
2 rifts at this point. He's max materials, 150 build.
At this point, they're in a brilliant position to win this game. Even though they're not on the high ground, they're caught below this hill. 2 rift to goes this late in the game will at least guarantee them a very solid placement. You see Bloxu and Vic. Oh my goodness, did he get the trap? Both ballers get hit by the trap, and he pops on up and eliminates Grizzly. But unfortunately, the baller keeps activating, or the trap keeps activating, even if the baller's there without anyone in it. So the baller was weak, not able to use it. Will just pop this rift. He had 2 anyway, so you might as well use one early. When you're by yourself, you just got to try to place as high as possible.
Float his way in now. Just trying to maintain above everybody. At this point, because it's mid-rotation, a majority of the time, the players that have the highest ground, you see them up there at the top of the screen for just a moment, they're not necessarily looking up to take shots. They're trying to watch for players that are caught off guard, maybe low materials, and are trying to branch their way in or push off of other people's structures. Those shots are going to be probably the most important, and there's a pretty low chance that you're going to get challenged by someone flying in with a redeploy, a rift, a launch pad, anything like that.
Yeah.
You already have the high ground, which means they're going to waste time landing. You could potentially hit a pump shot on them. There's a low risk at that point. So watching for players mid-rotation, super important. And this duo still does have a baller. Ricky's going to try and move his way towards the front of the zone. It's a northwest move. You got 2 players moving in from the top there. It is Mongrel and Mitro now have the high ground, Jack.
I mean, you knew
underneath
them. They would. They had the rifts to immediately be able to give themselves a chance for the high ground, and then with max materials, at least Mongrel did. You've got to think Mitro was probably up there as well, because the extra mats that were left behind from the elims that they got. 13 players remaining, 9 duos in total. Quick little cleanup from Jocko there on the crash. Does get tagged, but a 210 pump shot there to the dome. Jocko with 2 elims right there and has time to pop the slurp juice.
Gets caught off guard, though. That little window edit. Oh, my gosh. The movement in, and he did get shot from behind the same player. It is Ricky picks up that elimination. The first one for their duo. 9 players left, Jack. 8 duos for 8 teams, which means there's all solos except for 1.
At this point, if you're Ricky, give yourself a chance. Just pop one of these slurps. Even though you're full health, just pop one of them. Launch pad being used. Is Mitro about to be challenged on the high ground? It appears so. 1 elimination comes on in. A second player challenges as well. Mitro in the build battle. This could decide who can win this game. He will drop on down. Oh, no. Mitro.
A 20-meter fall.
Falls.
It actually took another player out as well at the exact same time. 5 solos remaining.
They were just too high up. Look at the build battle. It caused them both to go too high up. And I think Mitro was hoping that he would get his elimination bonus for the health on a limb, but it didn't pop in yet. Terrible ending there for that duo. 5 teams left with 5 players, meaning it's just all solos from here on out. Who can clutch up for their squad? Blazu, battling for the high ground, continues to just keep these materials and ramps in his favor. Only has a shotgun and SMG, but at this point in the game, Ben, that's really all you do need. Still 44 total builds. 3 players now left. The drop on in. Beautiful quick swap and cleanup with that legendary compact SMG. Sees with no shield. Blocks through high ground. Health advantage.
Has minis.
Material advantage. I mean,
this is his game to win at this point. Only a mistake is going to cost him, or an extremely solid pump shotgun shot. But even then, that green, it's not going to hit for 200, even if your opponent's swallowing the barrel. At that point, it still won't do enough damage. Z's arguably, I mean, this is potentially the worst position he could be in.
Yep. I mean, the one thing that I kind of see is that he does have a campfire when his opponent doesn't. But I wonder if Bloxu is expecting him to run out of materials anytime soon, because last we checked, player on the low ground was down to just 7 total builds, and you've got to think they've been using builds this whole time.
Well, there's only 20 builds remaining of his own. He's staying right inside the zone. Maybe pop that slurp just a little bit early. He was already 100-100, so he could have saved it for just a moment.
Oh.
Sees, takes the shot, and there it is. Blazoo secures the victory royale. An excellent, yeah, that was a solid game.
To be honest, that clean, using the new bunny hop emote there. 5 eliminations, a victory royale, a bunch of points earned for the duo right there. The action will continue in Europe, but for right now, we've got to throw it over to our main man, Zeke.
Yep. Hey. Oh, I'm just gonna set that aside. Hi. Yeah. Just like Courage talked about, EU has wrapped up, guys. Now listen. I know you want to see standings, but we're going to throw to a 5-minute break, and when we return, we'll have those standings for you guys to take a look at. So stay tuned. We've got more Fortnite action after this.
Jump on and drop in. It's time to kick off the Fortnite World Cup competition. From April 13th to June 16th, we'll be running Fortnite World Cup Online Opens, where you can qualify to compete for your chance at a piece of the $30 million prize pool. But how will these work, you ask? Each week we'll alternate back and forth between solos and duos competition, with players qualifying from each server region in Oceania, Asia, Europe, Brazil, NA East, and NA West. To find specifics for your server region, go to Fortnite.com/World Cup. To play in the online opens, you'll need to compete in the new Arena mode, an always-on form of competition where players can rank up tiers and leagues. It all starts in the Open League, and when players earn 125 points, they'll advance into Contenders League. After that, you'll need to build your way up to 300 points to unlock Champion League, where the Saturday Online Open players will be chosen. Then, we'll take the top 3,000 solo players or 1,500 duos from that Saturday's semifinals and advance them to the Sunday finals. Each Sunday, 20 players will rise to the top and qualify to join us in New York for the Fortnite World Cup Finals. Buckle up, because we're officially on the road to the Fortnite World Cup Finals.
I didn't start off the qualifier too great. It was like the late games where I think I won a game with 6 kills, and then my last game alone I went from 54 to 65, so every game matters. I'm just glad that I qualified the first week of solos, and I guess my practice paid off.
Yeah, I've never really been like, oh my god, what could this turn into? No, I kind of just like live it day by day, and I enjoy every single moment that I can. It's absolutely enjoyable. To come into like the World Cup, which is basically the most competitive event so far, you know, you have everybody around the world, everybody's allowed to compete, and then just come out of the gates and qualify for the first week, it's just absolutely amazing. Like,
it's a special sensation. I want to be the best player. I want to be better than all people and progress myself. I need to play more aggressive and more play the high ground.
So far I'm the only Finnish person, and it feels awesome. Like I can maybe give the best representation for Finland. I don't know if they actually understand how big this is, but after the news, all of them have been like congratulating me, and it's a huge influx of like new support, and it's overwhelming.
I have a few close friends, and they're just blown away. What is this? This is what you've been doing, and thankfully they're very supportive. I think we have a really good roster. We picked up some really good players. I think I put out a good first impression.
there's just random moments throughout my day where I'm just like, oh my god, I actually qualified. Like, I'm going to the World Cup. I'm going to New York City. It's gonna be so fun. I love it.
It's awesome. Thanks, Fortnite.